Gianni Infantino latest. Key questions as FIFA president faces executives. Published FIFA president Gianni Infantino will meet with senior leaders of football's world governing body on Wednesday as criticism of his now scrapped plan to sell off FIFA's commercial and event operations intensifies. After Secretary General Mattias Grafstrom sent a highly critical internal memo to FIFA staff, Infantino summoned members of the FIFA management board to Morocco. Tuesday also saw Chief of Global Football Development Arsene Wenger insist he was not involved in Infantino's FIFA Forward Enterprise proposal, adding that aborting it was absolutely necessary and beyond question. Prince Ali, president of the Jordanian Football Association, then accused FIFA of creating a situation which amounts to blackmail over unpaid prize money and support for Infantino's re-election. These claims have not been verified by the BBC, and FIFA made no comment when approached.
Get ready for a fitness upgrade. Featuring cutting-edge technology and high-precision sensors and tracking on the free VSync app, the eTech City Smart Fitness Scale is your platform for success. The scale provides 13 essential biometrics, complete with helpful data graphs on the VSync app, all viewable on your personal profile. The scale handles all kinds of shapes and sizes and is safe for the whole family to use, at home or on the go.
Ready to order? Scan the QR code now or visit grabdeal.us/9.
But Prince Ali's statement is indicative of the strength of feeling among the member associations that oppose Infantino. At the weekend, UEFA said it had lost confidence in Infantino's leadership. Several member associations, including Wales, with England set to follow suit, have withdrawn support for his re-election. Now Infantino will meet with FIFA's hierarchy to try to secure his position. Who is at the meeting and what is it for? BBC Sport understands the meeting will take place at FIFA's Africa office in Rabat. It will include Grafstrom and members of the FIFA Management Board. Among those in attendance will be Finance Chief Thomas Payer, Legal Chief Emilio Garcia Silvero, Chief of Staff Daniel O'Toole, Chief of Member Associations Elkin Mamedov, and Media Relations Director Brian Swanson. It is unclear the intention of the meeting, but it is expected that Infantino will attempt to build bridges in an attempt to create a path to remaining as president. However, this may not be straightforward. In his letter to FIFA staff, Grafstrom said the events of the past week had been a sad and reproachable series of events, which were difficult to comprehend and accept. On Friday, Kevin Lammer, FIFA's chief operating officer, said the private investment plan was the project of one person. He added FIFA's own administration was deceived. Infantino will have to show contrition and perhaps offer a route to reform if he is to win back the support of his inner circle. What are the key questions Infantino may face? Carlos Cordero, Infantino's senior advisor on global strategy and governance, quit on Friday over the plan. Cordero said the proposal was a bad deal for football and would mortgage football's future. Member associations had been given a deadline of 19 September to approve the plan or miss out on the extra funding that came as part of the deal. In his resignation announcement, Cordero offered a series of questions which Infantino will likely face at Wednesday's meeting. Most troubling of all, Mr. Cordero said, is the absence of answers to fundamental questions. What will investors ultimately gain and at what cost to football? These questions remain largely unanswered, and yet member associations are being asked to make a decision of enormous consequence in barely 50 days or risk being left behind. That is not a responsible way to determine the future of the world's game. This proposal has become a defining question for FIFA's future. On top of this, Infantino may also have to map out, or could offer, a route for reform. This may involve putting additional checks and balances in place that would make it impossible for such a plan to be devised and presented in this way again. Perhaps he could shelve his plans for a 64-team World Cup, or offer to open up FIFA's cash reserves. It seems unlikely that Infantino will leave his position as FIFA president by the end of Wednesday. Infantino has, so far, shown no indication he is considering relinquishing his position. Indeed, he has been trying to rally his core supporter base around the globe. On Tuesday, we saw African countries Egypt, Morocco, Niger, Mauritania, and Dr. Congo all issue statements in support of Infantino. Infantino will, however, have to answer serious questions about a hugely controversial and damaging week for FIFA. There may be those in the room who will query his ability to turn this around, especially with such fierce criticism from European countries. Could that criticism be strong enough for Infantino to tender his resignation? More likely, perhaps, Infantino could see this as the start of the fightback. We may see a statement that will include an apology and a promise of change. If Infantino does vow to fight on, UEFA and countries from other confederations must look to find other ways to oust him. The FIFA Council could try to force Infantino's hand through an emergency meeting. Such a gathering would be triggered if 19 of the 37 FIFA Council members call for one. However, BBC Sport understands there are doubts that the 19 votes could be achieved. Another step could be an extraordinary Congress of the 211 FIFA member associations, which would be held if 1/5, or 43 associations, make such a request in writing. So UEFA, which has 55 nations, can trigger the extraordinary Congress whenever it wishes. That would take a minimum of 2 months from the point it is triggered, but more likely 3 months, and there is no guarantee of success. In effect, it would be a de facto election without there being another candidate, as 106 votes would be needed to pass the vote of no confidence. Infantino would have time to win back votes from those who had been angered by the investment plan. UEFA can only really go down this route if it is confident of getting over the line. Which leaves finding a suitable candidate to fight the election at the FIFA Congress in March. Infantino stood unopposed when he was re-elected in 2019 and 2023, and if someone wants to battle him for the position, the deadline to announce their candidacy is 18 November. CONCACAF President Victor Montagliani is seen as the most likely unity candidate to stand against Infantino, but there should be no expectation of success. Even at the height of the FIFA scandal in 2015, Sepp Blatter was re-elected as president 8 days before he eventually resigned. If Infantino is still in position later on Wednesday, this story could yet have a long way to run. Infantino wants to create a show of unity analysis inside FIFA. The expectation is that Infantino has called the meeting in Rabat in an attempt to clear the air, have a show of unity, and try to achieve some alignment with his senior staff. But while that may be the beleaguered president's intention, what remains uncertain is what kind of response he will receive from those present, especially given the highly critical statements issued in recent days by Chief of Global Football Development Wenger, Secretary General Grafstrom, and Chief Operating Officer Lammer. Some staff are asking if that could have emboldened others at the top of the organization to speak out against him or to even insist he steps down. It is no surprise Infantino has chosen Morocco, where he has been based over the past week. Morocco is friendly territory for him. Not only is the country hosting the next World Cup, its National Football Association has come out in support of him, and it is where he still hopes to be re-elected for a 4th term at next year's Congress. The UEFA-led rebellion against him will be hoping that it does not get that far, and that he has been forced to quit long before then.